Good evening, my friends. 3 weeks have passed, so now we are entering into our 4th week meditation. And at the first 2 weeks, we kind of step by step. The first week is to introduce Anapana meditation, the breathing meditation, step by step. And the second week, we have introduced Vipassana. That means inside meditation, also step by step. And then the third week, we kind of, put all together technique 1, 2, 3, 4 about Anapana, the breathing meditation. So this is our 4th week. What we're going to do is we're going to kind of refine the Vipassana. So that means we're going to move from focus on the nose, the breathing. Now we're going to focus on the body sensation. So after you are good at with the Anapana breathing, you can reach to samatha, that means concentration. And at least in your daily life, you should kind of reach the skill that able, whenever you close your eye and immediately all your attention come to your nose, the concentration. So that means then you can apply to your job. When you do something, you kind of focus on the present, or when you are taking the bus or you are waiting for someone, you feel so like boring, then you can just focus on meditation, on your breathing in, breathing out. And every time if you can concentrate on 1 minute, that means you're doing the 1 minute meditation. And think about 4 days, 24 hours, and how many minutes you can accumulate. I understand right now it's very hard for everybody kind of, find a time, 20 minutes, for, 30 minutes, even an hour, just kind of a sitting meditation. But if in your each day, then you kind of accumulate 1 minute, 2 minutes of meditation, and then within 24 hours, then you accumulate 30 times. Then you have a 30 minutes, concentration, the meditation. And secondly, what I'm going to say about this, the Vipassana meditation, that it's going to, if you're really good at it, and the first one, you feel warmth, in your body, and not only that, you become so aware of the functions in your body. Sometimes you will find, the muscle tickling, and then also, the blood vessels flowing, and you find wow, it's just like the network of highway, in your body. You kind of, because the function is become amplified. So, it's help us to come to see the nature of the body. And so I always believe that in Chinese medicine, in the ancient time, that, especially with those acupuncture, when they talk about meridian, I mean, how do you know the meridian? If you cut part of the body, you cannot see those so-called meridians, those acupuncture points. Definitely is through the meditation, the dhyana, to know about the energy in your body. When we talk about energy, definitely your body has the temperature, the warmth, and then you also definitely feel the circulation in your body. It's just so subtle that you need to calm down your mind and then to discern. I want to discern. I want to use that word. It's sometimes very hard to say, to see, to observe, or to feel, but somehow kind of look inside, you can tell. And when we talk about samatha and vipassana, the Buddha in the sutra, the Buddhist scripture always mention that the samatha is the kind of our mind. It's just like the wave in the ocean. Even when we get enraged, it's like a typhoon, tornado, tsunami. Not just rainbow or the tide. It's like a tsunami. So what we have to do is to calm down. So let all the dust settle down, and the water becomes so clean, still, and clean, like a crystal, like a mirror. Okay, so that is why we have to do anapana, to come to the breathing and come to the so-called the samatha, the concentration. Yeah. So in Buddhism, always have the metaphor that if the mind just like the mirror, what is the function for the mirror? Mirror is to reflect the surrounding. So if we have a 100% pure, perfect mirror, then what it means? It will reflect at things as they really are, will not distort the shape or the color. Just like if we have the water of the lake, so clean, so still, then it reflects the moon, the stars, the sky will be as it is. Excuse me. So after our mind come to become like a samatha, concentration, then the mind is not dead, okay, stop and still, it's dead. No, it's spontaneously function that the mind will be reflect the surrounding, as things as they really are, without bias, no hindrance. So that's what we have to do, meditation and vipassana. Just these things as they really are. This is a very scientific, approach. Like science, I also want to reach this kind of the truth as well. What does it mean about truth itself, the reality itself? Okay, so this is, I spent a little bit time to kind of review again about why we have to do meditation. Now today, to do it, the Vipassana meditation. And again, body, breath, and mind. And today we're going to focus our mind is going to scan the body. You know, that means to be aware about the sensation. You know, when I say, okay, on the top of your head, that means you put all your attention on your head, the top of your head, this part, and what? Be aware about what is the sensation, what is the feeling here. You know, heavy, itchy, you know, pain, sore, numb, light, you know, all kinds of feeling or all kinds of sensation here. You don't have to do anything, but just observe, okay? And now extend to the whole skull, and then forehead, and then from right to left, eyebrow, eyes, and then the cheek, and the mouth, chin, and then the neck, the back neck, front neck, and to the right shoulder, elbow, arm, and the finger like from the first one, second one, third, fourth, fifth, and then now you change into the left shoulder, upper arm, elbow, you know, lower arm, and the palm, and first finger, second, third, fourth, and the pinky, the fifth one. And then you started from the chest, abdomen, and back, waist, and then your hips, and then your thigh, you know, also from the right, you know, like each part, just like a skin, you know, part by part. And then to your knees, to your leg, and to your foot, sole of the foot, and then toe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then to the left, the hip, thigh, knees, legs, and then foot and toes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the fifth left foot, the fifth toe will be the last one. And then you reversely from the left to the right, and from the bottom and to the top. So if you have the time to do it, you know, a few times, and what will happen? You will feel lots of heat in your body. You even sweat, and then you find that, for example, you have a knee injury. Then you will find this is very painful, and just focus on your thought, you know, your attention on the pain. Okay, if it's a knee, then find out, okay, where is the pinpoint? Where's the area, like a needle, the pinpoint place that you feel hurt? And what does it mean about hurt means? You know, when you say, oh, you know, here I hurt, okay, what does it mean? You know, sometimes this hurt, it's like a delusion. I didn't mean that is not real, but it's kind of, it's like, okay, if you encounter it and check closely, what does it mean about hurt or pain, the element of the pain, the feeling of the pain, the sensation of the pain, okay? So you focus on the strongest. And now, if you hurt, or you know, your neck, or your somewhere in your body, and then it hurt, then what you have to do is to analyze what does mean about hurt means. What is the sensation, and encounter it, and put all your mind to do the analysis. Okay? So that is the way kind of combine the three skills about the Vipassana. And after that, you will feel like, somehow the function of your body kind of becomes so vivid to you. Okay? Okay, so I have explained like 15 minutes, and I think that we have 10 minutes, and I'm not going to say anything, but you just have to do it by yourself. Okay, the first one, again, body, breath, and mind. Sit it, leg closed, and then back upright, and clockwise, shake, circle, counterclockwise, circle. Okay, relax your muscle and make sure you sit stable. And then your both hands, thumbs together, the right palms on the top or left palm on the top, it's okay. Okay, and then shoulder open up. Okay, chin, not up, not down. In the center, pull in, and the tip of your tongue behind the upper teeth, sliding. And with the eye closed. If you didn't get all these techniques, go back to day 1 or day 2. That's emphasize on this body posture. Okay. Now remember, the body posture need to be relaxed and upright. Now still doing the breathing in, breathing out first. Make sure that you are breathing smoothly. No noise, no panting. The breath becomes subtle. Now you can start to scan your body part by part. Today I will not give you the step-by-step instruction, but you do yourself. If you have a question, please go to day 8 and day 9 instruction review. But now, scan the sensation of your body part by part. Let's start our today's metta meditation and sending our loving kindness, thought, and prayer to ourselves and to the people we know and the people we do not know all over the world. May I be free from the infection of coronavirus and other disease, free from suffering, and be well and healthy. May my spouse and children be free from the infection of coronavirus and other disease, free from suffering, and be well and healthy. May my parents and brothers and sisters free from the infection of coronavirus and other disease, free from suffering, and be well and healthy. May all my teachers and students be free from the infection of coronavirus and other disease, free from suffering, and be well and healthy. May all my friends and neighbors be free from the infection of coronavirus and other disease, free from the suffering, and be well and healthy. May the people in this country free from the infection of coronavirus and other disease, free from suffering, and be well and healthy. May all the people in this world be free from infection of coronavirus and other disease, free from suffering, and be well and healthy. May all the sentient beings in this universe free from greed, hatred, and ignorance, free from suffering, and be well and happy. May all the doctors and nurses and medical personnel, caretakers, free from the infection of coronavirus and other disease, free from suffering, and be well and healthy. We like to pay our special thanks to all these doctors, nurses, caretakers who are in the front lines to risk their own life, but to serve other people, to save other people. Not only that, the physical risk, but also a lot of mental stress. May the Buddha and Bodhisattva bless them. May all the political leaders free from the infection of coronavirus and other disease, free from greed, hatred, and ignorance, free from suffering, and be well and healthy. We prayed these political leaders to have wisdom to adopt proper measures to save many lives and create harmonious society and peaceful world. May the people who die of the infection of coronavirus and other diseases raise in peace and will be reborn in a happier and healthier realms. May the people who infected by coronavirus and other diseases will receive speedy recovery, full recovery, free from suffering, and be well and healthy. Now you can spend some time and pay special blessing for the particular individual. My thought now go to a child named Derek, who was run over by a car. Now is in suffering. So I send my blessing and prayer to this young kid. Amitofo. Well, this is our 4th week, and we will continue to do this meditation at least for 1 week. And we will see what is the situation. And we really hope that somehow more people can start to go out and under the safeguard, wear the mask and be sure always wash your hands and keep the social distance and sleep well and for good nutrition to boost the immune system. The immune system is the best to protect yourself. Of course, we also hope that the people in the medical science and can working together come out with a treatment, the test, quick test, treatment, and vaccine. Today, I'd like to continue about yesterday. Yesterday was the Easter holiday, and I mentioned about the religion and culture. And today, I'd like to share with you on the Dharma and the culture. Okay. So, I remember, in the past 10 years, I spent most of the time in mainland China and bring the scholar and the college student to mainland China because that is the origin place for the Han Buddhism, the Chinese Buddhism. But I think I vaguely to learn about there was advocate on so-called Huai Buddhism. And the people are looking for so-called pure Buddhism and not that much about the culture. For example, if we are Buddhist, why we have to go to the Chinese New Year? Why we have to use a chopstick? Or, why we have to celebrate? It's more like the other country or ethnic groups practice or the festival. So when I heard about these kind of statements, one thing, the first one I want to share with you, the first one is so-called nomina and the phenomena, the principle and the manifestation. What I'm trying to say is, I think that the truth, or so-called the pure Dharma, you cannot see it, you cannot manifest, without a culture. What does it mean? Do you know how will we know about, what we call the gravity? Okay, so in science we know that everything, now we are not flying in the sky. The things are kind of on the ground. It's because the principle of gravity. But the gravity is, there was no test, no science, no color, no sight. How will you know? Of course, we know it through the phenomena. The apple dropped. Okay, we played the basketball dropped. If someone jumped out from the floor, it dropped. Okay, and like this tripod, for camera, for cell phone, it stayed here, and I'm able to sit here. It's because, the gravity. But gravity, this principle, this nomina, we cannot touch. It's a kind of untangible. But it was through this culture to show the principle. So what I mean is, even with the Dharma, for example, if we talk about compassion, how do you know there was a compassion? The way I do it to you. And we talk about precept, not to harming people. And this is also, and when we talk about the, good cause and good condition leading to the good result, that means, if I help people and I say good things to people and people feel happy or they receive the help, or if I say I curse people, I scolding at people, this is a bad condition and bad cause. And then someone immediately kind of hit it back. So this is the cause and effect. And when we talk about suffering, what does it mean about suffering? People crying when someone died, the loved one died. So the way to know about all these Dharma teaching, good and bad, cause and effect, suffering, impermanence, where we can see is through these phenomena. And phenomena also manifested or even showing in our culture. And the culture is more like, it's not diluted in that sense, but more you kind of have the variety, and then you can see it's a tolerance and also its inclusiveness. So when Indian Buddhism come to China, and then synthesized with the Confucianism or Taoism, it just very much reach its content. So I'm always very happy to see that when Buddhism, you have a Han tradition Buddhism, you have Theravada Buddhism, you have Tibetan Buddhism, come to the Western, and then mainly it has been oriented by Christian's culture, or more like what we call science, or even what we call the democracy culture. And it's so rich. So I remember 1988, I came from Taiwan, I was born in Taiwan. I was raised in Taiwan. So I came from Taiwan to United States. And I've been thinking about that American Buddhism is not going to be like Indian Buddhism or Theravada Buddhism, Thai Buddhism or Vietnamese Buddhism or Korean Buddhism. Neither is going to become a Chinese Buddhism or Tibetan Buddhism at all. It's going to be an American Buddhism. And then they was going to have something, you're going to be, not fix this culture, but also it's going to have a lot of adoption from this, the Christian culture or Western culture as well. So I always say, we'd like to see that, this American culture, it will become very rich. And you cannot just dilute it into white, frankly. Just like Chinese Buddhism is not like become pure, so-called pure Chinese Buddhism. There was a lot of, Confucianism, Taoism, folk religion, all kind of things all together. Okay. And the second concept, I was very happy because every time when we come to talk about Buddhism, we only talk about impermanence, suffering, the eightfold parts. There are many of what we call the Mahayana Buddhism. Mahayana Buddhist philosophy need to be, we need more people to expand on this philosophy. And so that's why I feel like, today it will be just a good day that, I can cover this one. So in the Huayan, people usually call garland, the philosophy. It's one of the major eight major schools in the Chinese Buddhism. And this Huayan Avantasaka Buddhism. And it mentioned about the principle and the manifestation or the practice should be integration. 理事圆融, the noumena and phenomena, it need to be integrated. 圆融 means perfect and harmony. So in Buddhism, especially like in Tiantai as well, it mentioned about 二谛圆融. This is if you ask me about after 40 years being a Buddhist nun, what do you benefit from the Buddhism? I will tell you that these so-called twofold truths, the integration of a twofold truth, or the perfection and harmony, or integrate from these two levels of the truth. 二谛圆融. What does it mean? That means that there was a secular, mundane truth. There was a transcendental, ultimate, or super mundane truths. And you all need to be understand or even, have them to perfectly, mingle together. For example, some people will criticize that, since Buddhism talking about non-self, so if I go out to kill someone, there was no self killing. There was no self of a killer. And I always say, I'm sorry, then, you still have this conditioned self to go to jail or get the death penalty. So people forgot about that we still have these mundane worldly ethics as well. So yes, there was no self, the body is conditioned, but also this conditioned body and self will go to jail or face the death penalty. And right now there was a famous saying called 佛系. It's started from Japan, and literally 佛 means Buddha, 系means means related, that kind of category, like a Buddhist category. But of course, when these 佛系in the nowadays become a term, you can call a Buddhist slacker, like things go to very easy, or no problem. Some of the owner, business owner, like the boss, they complain to me. They say, I don't want to hire the Buddhist young people because they will come to me, tell me, say, oh, let it go, boss, you should not have any desire, maybe you should just chanting the Buddha's name. And the owner of the business complained to me. And you know what? I say to them, fire him or fire her. Okay. Because people take this way to evade their responsibility. That's lazy. That's an excuse for being lazy. That I always tell people that in Chinese we have a saying called the first stage. If you see the mountain, it's mountain. And you see the water, it's water. But on the second stage, you see the mountain is not mountain, and the water is not water. But the third stage, you see the mountain is mountain, and then the water is water. Of course, the first stage, and then the second stage. At the third stage, looks the same, but indeed they are very different because the third stage has been the process, going up, and when it comes down, and then he come to the very nature, but because he has experienced the whole challenge, the difficulty, or the best, and so he react very nature, or even react very innocent and naive, but that's different from the first stage. It's just like someone, climbing, from here and climbing to the mountain, and when he come down to the mountain, and he see the people are just going to the mountain, but the people haven't climbed to the mountain, cannot tell the people have been to the mountain and say, hey, we are the same, we are equal. We are still on this, the same horizon. No, we are still the same on this ground. No, that's different because, for this person, he already climbed up and then coming down. So I always tell, sometimes the young people will say, oh, okay, let go of the fan, let go of the money. And I say, I'm so sorry. You have a money to let go. You have a fan to let go because you don't have it done yet. So this is in the secular level, secular truth. In this worldly, in our world, there was law we have to follow. There was ethic we have to follow. There was diligence we have to working hard. Our vocation, our job that we need to working hard. There was obligation that in this world, even you are Buddhist, you still have to fulfill this obligation first. But the difference is you will not just get caught in these just mundane worldly things, but every time you can look on the, from the top and to see a big horizon, angle. For example, if you are judge and you think this is my job, I just go there to make money, then you are wrong. Okay? But if you go there and then you from the top to see that why people, there was people doing the bad things and they have to face the punishment, and why there was a victim. And then you from the top to see that the suffering, among the people, the ignorance, the greed and hatred, and happen in the people. And you have that to generate that compassion. Now, you do this job not because go for the money or go for the fame, but kind of from more like a humanity view to see this is the suffering, of the people. And then you generate the compassion, So that in Mahayana Buddhism, it has been teaching that the perfect and harmony, integrates from we come to recognize the secular, the worldly ethics, worldly truths. And then, but you have to perform your duty, but also at the same time, you can transcend to the perspective you see from the above. And, always keep your mind that to understand the suffering in this world, and that is where, you will generate your compassion. So, I love this so-called 二谛圆融, the integration of the two kinds of the truth. So it helps us, we know that, how we're going to act in this world, but we also can a lot of time, transcend ourselves and more, that is why we can keep it that equanimity, equanimity to look at what happened in this world. So if you apply this to, now what happened, the countries fighting, the politician was, fighting and arguing, but, we know there was a cause and effect, there was a past and present, Of course, they're going to have a future, but as a Buddhist practitioner, that we understand, can we kind of, look at it from a humanity way? And we know that many things is going to happen, among the country, but always keeping in mind that every time we make a decision, it's always to do with the human life. And, for them, the suffering it's real. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing with me. And tomorrow we will come back, continue about the condition for prepare for good meditation. Okay. I'm glad that we continue for this. Come to the 4 week. I will see you tomorrow. Thank you.